First YouTube video. Let's get it started. Yeah, probably gonna be pretty bad at this, but this YouTube channel is basically gonna be me yapping. I like yapping, but yeah, I want to talk about the character Michael Kaiser, because I know he's like a super popular character. I'm not making this video like he's like people like shit on him or don't really like him too much, but man, I like Kaiser a lot because, you know, Isaki's giving the Goku vibes, Waro's giving the Vegeta vibes, and for me personally, you guys may agree with me. Again, I'm just yapping. Alright? I'm a yapper. But Kaiser gives me the Broly vibes. I fucks with it so much. And he definitely has his Broly moment. Like, I mean, when he did the bicycle kick on top of, like, I don't know, what was the flamboyant guy? I don't know. It definitely reminds me, because the source of his power comes from, like, rage and just, like, being fucking mad about his upbringing. That's like, I mean, of course, you can feel free to disagree with me. I understand. But, you know, I wanted to be like, oh man, he's definitely like that Vegeta archetype. But Baro just fits that so much more because he is like, I think he's richer than Rio, like that. He's in the Baro. He's the second richest family, and I don't know, it's in some fan guidebook. I'm definitely gonna go over that, but I've heard that through the grapevine, and I don't know, just Kaiser doesn't really fit that Vegeta archetype of like the Broly situation, because you gotta think about it, like he's like this random fucking guy. He pops up on the scene. I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first saw his character, I definitely wasn't thinking like, oh man, this is gonna be the guy. He's gonna be my guy, because I'm still like a Baro, Snuffy, Akinu fan, but now that I've gotten like the whole like background story, his childhood, how he got into soccer in the first place, I'm really feeling the whole vibe. It's nice. And then also like this is gonna be a little bit of a reach here, but the choking thing just definitely reminds me of the Broly kind of like bracelet. Shot collars thingamajig that his dad had on him, and the parallels that, you know, Broly and Kaiser's dad have with each other, where they like kind of control that rage part of this. I don't know. It's just, I love Kaiser as a character, and a lot of the times I think when Kaiser fans dive into him, I feel like maybe sometimes they don't understand I don't know. Right now for me, and I'm a Blue Lock fan. I won't say I'm a Blue Lock, you know, lore professional here, but I'm definitely enjoying the story. I'm definitely diving into the theories. I'm on Blue Lock TikTok. I know that doesn't really do me any justice here, but I don't know. I love the story. I really do, and you have to believe me here, because this is my first video on YouTube, and it's about Blue Lock. I have faith in this story, and I know that Kaiser comes off as like this huge like edgelord emo kid, like, oh, you know, I'm all big and bad, and like, oh, I only feel joy. Like he gives me you know, I know I drew the parallels between Broly, but he also like kind of reminds me of Parison from Hunter x Hunter, where I was like, oh, I can, you know, just like, you know, quirky kind of edgelord personality, and I get that how it can, you know, maybe, you know, draw you away from him, but I don't know. I love his character a bunch. And I know he may be a talented learner, but the writing in this story for him is absolute genius. And I'm gonna be kind of going like in chronological order of Kaiser's timeline, just because it keeps me focused, because I know when you're actively reading the manga, it just like bounces around. You get little pieces and little ribbons here and there, but just to kind of like, because you don't really get that appreciation for Kaiser until you get the whole story. So for me, it just kind of keeps me focused, because if I don't have like a path or like a checklist, I'm just gonna start rambling about just like random shit. It's like, why is he talking about the groceries he got last week? Like that's just kind of how my mind works. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be talking about. I would say going into his childhood. So we're gonna be talking about little Kaiser right now, for sure. And you know, I know you guys call it blue lock. For me, right now, and probably always until something weird happens, it's not blue lock for me. It's blue rose. Okay, this is blue rose, and this is a side story. All right, and I know Nagi got his little side manga. I want Kaiser to get like a little side story too. I'm kind of betting on that. It'd be so amazing. But yeah, I spent all my money on the Kaiser stocks, and I'm not mad about it. I will say though, going into his childhood, it was kind of irking me at first that every time they was talking about Kaiser, they was like, oh, the boy, the boy, the boy. The boy, that was kind of irking the shit out of me, and I hated it. It was kind of feeding into that cringe level I was talking about earlier. Just, oh man, you know, this is just like some edgelord king, yada yada yada. And I don't know, the writer was trying to do something different, but the boy. It was kind of like irritating the shit out of me until. I don't know why I didn't catch it on the first time, but you know, for me, like I'm kind of dyslexic and. I'm a slow reader, like I'm a self-proclaimed slow reader. It's okay. It's fine. You know, that's why I read comics. They have the pictures. It helps me out a lot. Okay, but I don't know why I didn't pick it up until the second time going through it. Actually, for this video, the reason they kept saying the boy is because Kaiser's dad never called him by his name, and I'm gonna assume. And not assume, I'm pretty sure about this. I'll put all my money on it. Is that it was just kind of some side petty bullshit towards his mom for leaving. So that's why he never, because his mom named him basically, and he didn't want to use a name that motherfucker used. His dad was just on some hater shit, which I kind of respect, but I don't respect, you know, parents beating the shit out of kids for no reason for mistakes they did to themselves. and as I'm reading, again, it's crazy because I didn't have the same level of respect for Kaiser's background story or his childhood writing. And until I read it the second time, which I kind of like beat myself up about a little bit, but it's okay. But anyways, I'm reading it the second time through, and I'm just like, I don't know why, it just like popped in my head. I had like this epiphany, and I'm like, man, this is just like Gyro from Hunter x Hunter. It's the same thing. I actually went back and looked at some panels, and it just kind of gives the same vibe. It's just like the alcohol bottles all around. And they're like, you only exist to serve me. That's the only reason you're here. And I kind of hate it anyways, because even though you are objectively beneficial to me, I still kind of despise you, because in my mind, you drag me down. And that was crazy to me. It was so fucking man. And then I'm thinking about it, and it's kind of reminding me of the Snuffy plotline, where Snuffy is like trying to better himself in his career, and he's talking to his boy, and man, I really need to get better at like learning these names. And when Snuffy comes up with this idea to just like better himself, and like, hey, we might have to start from zero and, you know, build ourselves back up, because his boy was a genius and they just kind of work off emotions. he wasn't really like understanding what he was trying to say, and Snuffy just kind of like went his own way because, you know, even though he's a talented learner, and we learn from Ego that talented learners are supposed to understand geniuses and basically translate the geniuses kind of bullshit logic into actual logic to kind of preach down to the normies and tell them like, hey, look, I know my boy's tripping. I know my boy Kanye's tripping, right? And I know he hates the Jews. But what he's trying to say is that's literally what talented learners are. But I don't know. I'm like reading the story and I'm kind of getting this vibe that what happens when geniuses get too reliant on talented learners, like conveying their messages, and this is an overarching thing in Blue Lock in general. This happens with talented learners also. You can't base your happiness or your improvement on other people. It just will not work out. No matter if you're a normie, a talented learner, or a genius, you're just gonna crumble if the one thing that was just holding you up, it's literally just the, putting all your eggs in one basket dilemma. And I'm thinking about how Kaiser's mom is probably a true egoist. She left her husband behind, her kid behind, a nice cushy life, like, cause I'm thinking Kaiser's dad would have been just like making movies literally based on the mom being the lead actress, and they would have had kids, and he probably would have pumped some more babies into it and all of that. And I'm thinking about the parallels between like Snuffy's best friend and Kaiser's mom and Kaiser's dad, how she left. She definitely left to go better her career, and this fucking crushed him because he's like, hey, we got it made. We're making enough money. We're cool. And I hate how like Ness kind of mirrors Kaiser's dad, but we'll get back to that in a second. But you can tell that her leaving to go better herself and to go to higher heights crushed Kaiser's dad. And it definitely just like draws me back to that Snuffy plot line, which is, I don't know, it's super cool. And when you kind of get this insight into Kaiser's dad's mind frame, is one of the, I feel like, let me stay here for a couple seconds. I don't think, I said a couple seconds, 1 second. I don't think there's a darker scene in Blue Lock right now. Ironically, outside of this Snuffy's friend killing himself. It's probably, it is definitely in the top 5 dark scenes when Blue Lock takes it there. And a dad choking the shit out of his son and telling him with a level of self-awareness that is, you would think he didn't have, explaining to him with a decent amount of logic, actually. I'm like, like he understands the dilemma here. He's choking the shit out of his kid. And he's like, hey, yeah, I might be trash, but you're trash that's below me. And I'm just thinking about how Kaiser's just like getting choked by the one guy that's supposed to be like his family, someone that loves him, and he's getting choked while his dad's explaining this to him, and being also outrageously confused as he looks past his drunken dad with the milk stains on his lip, the empty fucking whiskey bottles, and his mom playing on the fucking TV, because you know he has the whole catalog. And he sees the blue rose in the background. Like, I don't think people understand how like fucked up that would make you in the future. Like, I understand that Kaiser's an edge lord, but like once I paint that picture for you, like just think about it. Your dad's choking the shit out of you, right? Your mom's on the TV, empty fucking alcohol. Like, he hasn't showered in days. This is probably the first time he got up from the couch, and he sees that. But the only thing that's clean in the room is that blue rose, pristine, no dust, no water stains. And Kaiser's like, what the fuck? Is this what love and admiration does to people? Oh my god. And hey, look, anyways, just moving on. I don't want to keep rambling about this one, but and I'm just thinking about like when Kaiser, like, this is when, and this is cool because when he bought the ball, the soccer ball. I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. When he bought the soccer ball, I also like this because this is the first thing he ever did for like himself. Because you'll see once we get to Kaiser's teenage years that he tells Ness, like, Kaiser wasn't always like this like super high strong, you know, personality. He tells Ness as he's cutting his hair that, you know, that I wasn't always like a strong person. I was weak. I was like fragile. Like, and it linked me back. And again, I never was a person to go back and reread things. I'm like, once I read it, I'm like, oh, I got everything I needed to. But, you know, reading this series, I'm like, I'm locked in. All right, I'm locked in for sure. And I'm rereading his childhood, and I think about it. I'm like, okay, when he gets the soccer ball, he didn't steal the soccer ball. He didn't find it. He you know, saved a little bit of money for himself that he earned, even though it was like a fucked up way to do it. But he was in a fucked up situation, so, you know, whatever. He like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself. And he buys this soccer ball. And when he starts going into, you know, kicking it against the wall and everything like that, the metaphor of the soccer ball coming back and just like, you know, even though he like hit it came back, hit it came back, hit it came back. It made me think. I'm like, oh man, this kind of, it definitely reminded himself of his personality, honestly, because he, at this point in the story, you know, he's not like his mother yet, right? And we're gonna get to this later in the video, right? I'm really locking in with this Kaiser lore, all right? I don't know if I'm the only one, you know, preaching the Bible of Michael Kaiser, but I'm okay. I will die on his hill. I stand on it for sure. He's thinking like, I feel like at this point, like there's no way he doesn't know who his mother is, because they state and indirectly strongly apply that his mom's like a famous actress. Like he there's no way he doesn't know who his mom is. There's no fucking way. And again, I know I made the joke earlier, but there's no way that his deadbeat fucking horrible dad isn't like watching those movies on repeat, you know, because he's a burnout producer. Jesus. And I feel like he could have just packed his shit up, or, you know, a couple sandwiches, couple shirts, found his mom. Hey, look, I'm your son. And again, they also imply that Michael looks exactly like his mom. He looks exactly like his mom, man. So for whatever reason, Kaiser just keeps going back to his dad, and that's why he connected with soccer. And I'm gonna assume in this universe that soccer was like the pinnacle of, I mean, just like, honestly, now it's like soccer's the most watched sport in the world. So it's just amplified through the story of Blue Lock. But yeah, and everything just kind of lines up perfectly. And I love it because in his childhood, it kind of gives you and drop hints about how Kaiser values things. Like, he didn't really value the whole like stealing shit, because he gets arrested, and he's like super stoic about the situation. And I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but it helps. I'm trying to not ramble, believe it or not. And it kind of gives you like a hint on what he thinks truly matters, because he gets this ball and he's like training with everything, and this is like something he wants to last. I guess from looking at his dad, seeing who his mom is, going out and like stealing shit for his dad, he gets a really adult view on what really matters in the world and what's gonna stop you from being a fucking absolute demon to people in life. And he wants like a skill that he can just take with him, something like you can't steal from him. He's gonna always have his skills and always have his knowledge of soccer. And I don't know, I know like the story portrays him as like this very materialistic person, but even as young as, I don't know, he's maybe like 10, 9 in this part of his story, he's looking for something that's gonna last, something that won't dry up, something that if someone took this thing away from me, I wouldn't crumble and become what my dad is. And I really appreciate it about his story. And when they get to the point when he's like a kid and he's talking to the soccer ball, because at this point he's mastering the Kaiser impact. And I know I've seen it a few times on the internet. Like, they understand why his direct shot is so quick, is because the only time he ever played soccer is when he's knocking against that ball, and the harder you kick it, the faster it's gonna come back. And for him, this is like relieving some stress. He's living a life no kid should ever live, and this is the only time of his day where he's able to relieve some stress. And he's probably kicking that ball super hard, so the harder you kick it, the faster it comes back. And he's just like, so that's why it's kicked so. And once you think about it like that, it's so cool, because I know the story tried to do like a bait and switch where they're like, oh, Kaiser's a genius, but you read his backstory, it's like everything points towards talented learner. Like the Kaiser impact is a skill he learned and cultivated himself, and I like that. But to circle back around, when he's talking to his soccer ball, and he's like, man, telling him about all the dreams, like, man, we're gonna make it big, man. We're gonna be eating fucking caviar, Wagyu steaks, what I mean? We're gonna be, on girl number 3. I love it. He just kind of like, spitting the shit with the soccer ball, and he he goes, and if I'm lucky, which is wild, right? He goes, and if I'm lucky, be loved. That, and I'm about to go into like the teenage years, but you gotta think about that when he said that for him, that's an impossible goal, or something that would come about maybe. And that's why to be loved is an impossible thing for him. And that's what generates his like motto, and I wouldn't say motto, but like his urge to, make the impossible possible. And then we kind of jump into, I would say, the first chapter of Blue Rose, aka Blue Lock chapter, blah blah blah, who knows. I like this so much for Kaiser, because it literally parallels Asagi's journey through Blue Lock. because if Kaiser fucks this up, he's like back on the streets. He doesn't have any other skills on his resume besides stealing milk. All right, so this is a one in a lifetime opportunity, and if he fucks it up again, it's just done. Which is the exact same parameters that Ego gives the 300 for the Blue Lock program. And I don't know, I just love this so much. And again, there's gonna be a lot of critique on Kaiser and his like super edgelord, like I don't give a fuck attitude. And you get this panel of the other trainees or the other applicants of the Bastard Munchin team, and they're like going up to him. They got the fucking fresh food, they're laughing, smiling, and you know Kaiser just looks at the situation and it's just so foreign to him. And I get it. When you've been in a bad situation for so long and you get handed this amazing opportunity on a literal silver platter, like you know, I don't know any other way to operate. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I might freak out a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie. So a lot of people may hate this scene. I love it. It makes sense. Because if he just was kind of like, oh my god, thank you so much, man. Well, what's your name? Like, your name's Greg. You can call me Mikey. My name's Mikey. You know what? Call me Mike. Like, that would have been a little bit fucking weird. I fucking hate it. So, I get it. But at the same time, I do have to critique him on the fact that maybe he forgot that soccer is a team sport, and if motherfuckers don't really fuck with you, believe it or not, they won't pass you the ball, big dog. So you know, you get the panels of Kaiser like having all these psychology books, and you know they're painting him to be the psychopath, like to say, oh, he's like strategic, oh, you know, he doesn't really care about human emotions, blah, 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 blah. I get it, and I mean that may be the case. That might be exactly what the author's trying to convey. But to me reading it and with my bias, like, I think he's honestly trying to understand people more. He's like, okay, cool. You know, I've been milk hunting my entire life. You know, like, you know, I feel like people like criticize him on the whole, like, you know, flipping out on the guys randomly in that scene, but it makes sense. You got to realize what Kaiser's like. He grew up where his dad showed him how to do the Kaiser impact because he came home without the milk. Like, there's like a scene, he's like, his dad's literally like, I feel like he's really doing like the Kaiser impact to his head, which is funny because, you know, the stories I read and the stories I've watched, when a deadbeat dad wants to go get milk, he just goes and get it himself. It just doesn't come back. But, you know, hey, look, I love the spin on a cliche. You know, it speaks to the originality of Blue Lock. I really appreciate it. So when I saw that he was like reading all these books, even on the first read, that he was looking at all these like psychological books and he's trying to read up on like human finance. Also, I'm super curious. Like, was he using like the company card, or what was going on with that? Or did he steal the books? Because did anyone think it was weird that this kid was checking out like 20 books on psychology and, you know, how to make friends and influence people? I don't know. Just saying. It's a little weird. Anyways, saying that, that's kind of like my personal theory on that. And I hate that part of Kaiser's backstory is linked to, the notorious character Ness. I'm gonna try and not go on too much of a rant about Ness right now, but I really do. I just don't like Ness. I just don't like Ness. He's so fucking irritating. I'm really channeling his siblings' energy, and I think his siblings are just like fucking assholes. But if I take baby Ness and baby Kaiser, right, and I had an opportunity, like a button to press, to switch their lives, because I really do feel in my core that Kaiser didn't deserve any of the fucking abuse that he endured when he was a kid. But I do, with every cell in my body, feel like Ness deserved everything that happened to him. And I'll touch on that in a little bit. But god damn it, I hate that part of his backstory is connected to Ness, and because like all of these things happen like super close to each other, where it just like it kind of takes you out of it. It's like, oh yeah, he's just reading all of these books, and then like, oh, he meets Ness, and then yada yada yada, and no, it doesn't give you time to let the information like soak a little bit. I really do think that Kaiser was just trying to learn how to just interact with people better. It's just due to his upbringing. It's just like not something he was good at. It just didn't work. It didn't come naturally. It didn't feel good. It's not what drove him. It's not what motivated him. And hey, fuck it. But I love the fact that he was, taking a swing at it. He's trying to figure it out, because who knows? It may have worked. But it was kind of like he was like hedging his bets. Either I'm going to learn how to interact with people better, or I'm going to learn how to manipulate them. Doesn't work. Whatever comes first, doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to get to this impossible goal. And I love that. It's amazing. And here's where I'm going to try and not get too much into I hate Ness rant, which is going to be really hard for me, because I really do hate this guy. He's so annoying. Every time I see him on panel, it's really hard for me to not have a physical reaction before I even read anything on the panel at all. I don't have any faith that he's going to ever say anything that won't irritate the ever-living shit out of me. He just, I don't know, at this point in the story, we're right now I'm current time. We're at the current game that's been going on for the last 50 years now. It's about as long as One Piece. And you get like the background story for Ness, which did the opposite of what I thought it was going to do and make me understand him more. But honestly, all it did was make me agree with his siblings on how much I dislike him. I think the only person in his family that tried to even give him some advice to his dilemma, it was his dad. And he's always like explaining to him, like, oh dad, can you use the healing magic for me? And he's like, no. And he's like going step by step on what this quote unquote healing magic is. And it's at this point, and I didn't have to reread the story to get any more info or meaning out of this part of Blue Lock, because at this moment I'm like, this is my first time reading this, and I'm reading Ness's background story, and I'm like, damn, honestly, like, I'm not for child abuse at all. And Kaiser's childhood is horrible, and no one should live through that. But I was just thinking to myself that, man, Kaiser is the son Ness's dad wanted, and I just wanted them to switch places so bad. I'm like, oh my god, I don't like this kid. He's literally that bum friend that has this $1,000,000 idea with no knowledge or a game plan on how to execute on it. Everything, he just like lives in the clouds, and that kind of mindset isn't going to work in Blue Lock. It's not good. Every time Ness is on the panel, at first, like, he maybe had one panel where he was cool, or like, oh damn, this guy, oh, the magician, I just can't get behind it. After like that literal first panel of him, everything after that, I just absolutely hate. And it kind of actually ruins the whole like magic thing for him, because to him it's magic because he doesn't put any thought into how the end result comes about. Which I hate saying this out loud, because now I'm thinking about it, and Ness might actually just be, if he is anything, a genius. Because saying that now out loud, I'm thinking like, oh my god, that's a genius mentality. Oh my god. But it would be nice, not gonna lie, to have another genius playmaker, because I like that Blue Lock's kind of introducing this side sector of the story. I know everyone's always just like, Blue Lock's about a striker, and you have to be a striker. That's so annoying. I hate ever engaging in conversations where someone says that. It takes me out of it. I'm like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Like, you got Sai, you got the little demon kid that's super chummy with Cheeto. You got, Hiyori. I might be saying that wrong, but yeah, and I love that putting this in here because it gives you more dimensions out of Blue Lock instead of like that straightforward like striker. And that's always, anytime I'm in the comments of any video or just like discussing Blue Lock in general, once someone's put against the wall on a certain opinion, they just come swinging with that one. Well, actually, Blue Lock's about I'm getting tired of hearing that, honestly. But anyways, to get back to the main path of the video, as much as I hate Ness, this is actually critical to Kaiser's development, because this is when he starts to adopt his mother's ego. You know, I really do feel like Kaiser's mom is a true egoist. And I love saying this now because she left her husband and kids to go be a superstar. And I can already like picture the conversation she had with Kaiser's dad. Like, hey, look, you might have to take care of the kids sometime. You know, I need to go to these castings. I need to, you know, Tom Cruise is out there. It's this new movie in America. I want to really go out there. And he's like, no, wait, we have everything we need right here. I'll just make you a movie. You know, I'll just make the movie around you being the lead character. And you know, it'd be really cool. Another kid. And I can just feel her and her soul is drying up and just getting the ick. You know those panels where Kaiser's looking at Ness after he's just like saying some off the wall, like, oh, Kaiser, actually, you're so amazing, that pass was good, and yada yada. Just the cuddling that happens when Ness is speaking, Kaiser absolutely hates it. I'm just picturing, right, you swap out Ness with Kaiser's dad, you swap out Kaiser with Kaiser's mom, and I feel like that's exactly what happened. And that the one time they had that conversation, she was like, I gotta get out of here. This is my coffin. Hey, look, if you're my kid, you'll be okay. I can't take you with me. I'm so sorry. I gotta chase the bag. And, you know, respect, you know, it's a little devious, but I like it. And I love the mentality switch. So you get the childhood Kaiser where you kind of get the engine of his mindset. You get his teenage years where he he gets his edgelord power boost Zenkai, where he's like, oh, I only function through malice, and you get the current time in the game, the PX game, where he's not like dropping the dad mentality, but now he's like incorporating his mom and dad's mindset together, what works for him. Like if you like think about it right now, the Magnus shot that where it curves is literally the Kaiser impact with a spin on it, and him coming out of his cocoon is the same thing, right? It's his same mentality, but it has a spin on it, and I love that so much. The writing is, I don't know, the writing for Kaiser is S tier. I love Blue Light, it's amazing. But one of the other panels that like sticked out too, where you get the realization that he's a talented learner, and basically just like a callback to everything Kaiser's been through in his life, is you get that panel where he's literally cursing God out, and he's like, oh my God, this life is so unfair, and he chooses to fight through it anyways. And I'm like, bro, I'm looking at this panel, it's amazing, it's it's so good. And then he hits the Magnus, it goes in, he pulls the shirt down like, okay, Kaiser, we see the fit, all right, your mom sees you, I promise you. It's so good. He's reaching to the heavens like, fuck yeah, chef's kiss. Everything about Kaiser's right, and I'm starting to appreciate everything. Like I have my favorite characters. Snuffy's amazing, Barrow's amazing, Asagi. I never really tend to like the main character too much, because like I don't know, I think authors have a lot of fun putting their own spin on like side characters and doing like fun projects on the side. I don't know, I always loved side characters more than the main character. But Asagi's gold, and I don't know, I have so many favorite characters, but like after getting everything I needed from Kaiser and kind of getting the resolution on that, respect, all right? Again, this isn't Blue Lock for me, this is Blue Rose. It's amazing. And right now I'm making this video, and the newer chapters are coming out, and I think Ness is having like this evolution right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't give a fuck, I don't care at all whatsoever. It does nothing for me. But it'd be nice to have another playmaker in the game. Unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna be Ness. I hope that's not the case. Again, don't like him. He's old ball and chain to the Blue Rose, and I don't know. I can't have it. My boy Kaiser needs to be in his restrictive zone, back to when he was coming home and the only thing in the refrigerator was milk, beer, and knuckle sandwiches. All right, he needs to lock in, and now and all Ness does is coddle him. I just don't. What I fear is the same thing that happens to Nagi and Rio happens to Kaiser and Ness, and if that happens, I'm gonna drop Blue Lock. I'm lying. That's not gonna happen. But I don't know. It'll hurt my soul. It will. But everything up until now, in the current chapters of Blue Lock, for Kaiser, I'm eating up, and I hope that this isn't like one of those, because you see this happen with characters in Blue Lock a lot, where you know they'll have like cool characters, and then you know they'll be in a game, and then you won't see them for like 50 chapters. It's like, where's this guy? Where's this? Where did he go? And I really hope Kaiser doesn't get put on a shelf, and we get some more from him, because there's definitely more meals and courses to whip up. All right, don't starve the Kaiser fandom, okay? I think that's it. I mean, I think I'm almost out of yap. But for anyone that's had like a rough childhood and dealing with things, dealing with trauma and bad experiences that kind of haunt him, this character is for them, because he takes his childhood trauma and uses it as an engine to get shit done. And chef's kiss. All right, love this story. See you guys later. Till the next time. till the next time. Jesus Christ. Till next time. Bye.